Hey YouTube, welcome to Sunken's Lab. Today I have a pretty special video for you on Pokemon Showdown. As you can see, neither of the teams on your screen are very orthodox, and the reason for that is because both of these teams were actually randomly generated. So, my team is on the top right actually. My girlfriend, who is the person I'm playing against in this battle, is on the bottom left. First of all, this is my girlfriend's very first serious competitive battle. And I've been trying to convince her to try to play a little bit more competitive Pokemon with me, and she's not really into it as much as I am, so all of my efforts were in vain for the most part. But I did convince her to play this battle with me, randomly generate a team, make her team with whatever she got, and then just play me with it. So that's actually what's going on, and you might think that this battle is going to be unentertaining or boring because I'm playing against somebody who has no experience, opposed to me having thousands of battles of experience, but that's actually not the case. This actually turned out to be a very, very good battle, a very close battle. So yeah, let's get right into it. She leads off with her Sandslash, and I lead off with my Ariados. I decided to go for the agility because I just wanted to be able to baton pass to something should she decide to go for the Stone Edge on me, but she goes for the Stealth Rocks, and then she brings in her Lugia. I'm assuming she was expecting me to baton pass so she could whirlwind me out. However, I go straight for the Toxic Spikes, and she has to bring in her Sandslash so that she doesn't get toxic with her Sandslash, just the one layer of toxic poison rather than two layers. And I'm able to baton pass my +2 speed into my Victory Bell. She goes for the Rapid Spin and Rapid Spins away those Toxic Spikes, and at the time I totally forgot that Sandslash would Rapid Spin. Anyway, with my Victory Bell, I go for the Swords Dance, get the +2 attack and +2 speed from my Ariados, and she brings in her Lugia, and I was thinking she was just going to whirlwind me out, but instead she goes for the Ice Beam, and that surprised the shit out of me. And it put me in a position where I was forced to go for the Sucker Punch. I didn't have any other choice. I was dead no matter what I did, because if I had switched out, I would have died to Stealth Rocks. So, I am going to go from the Sucker Punch to 81% to her Lugia, and I get that huge defensive threat out of the way with my Linoone. Just extreme speed it and take it right out. So she goes into her Thundurus, and predicting me to go into my Snorlax, she goes for the Focus Blast, and it does 47%. And I can't stay in for another one, because if that was not max damage, she would one-hit me. I mean, if that was anything but max damage, she would one-hit me, and she would two-hit me in the next turn. Whatever. Anyway, I bring in my Ariados, she predicts the switch and goes for the Thunder Wave. Now, my Ariados is paralyzed, I only have one layer of Toxic Spikes up, she brings in her Blossom, and she takes me out with the Hidden Power Fire. So, that is extremely unfortunate for me, because now I can no longer get Toxic Spikes up, and I don't have 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up, and she has a Spinner. So, basically, my Toxic Spikes are screwed. However, I do get the opportunity to whirlwind out her Sandslash, but I whirlwind her into her Audino. She goes for the Thunder Wave and paralyzes me, and I get the full paralysis on the first turn. She switches out her Audino and goes into her Galvantula. Unfortunately for her, I do go for the Rest on this turn, and it clears the paralysis and heals me. So now she goes for the Thunder, hoping to get as much damage off as possible on me while I'm asleep, but she realizes that the 30% is not going to be enough to take me out in my two turns of sleep. So she decides to just Volt Switch out, get a little bit of extra damage on me, and Volt Switch out into something that can actually handle my Snorlax a little bit better. She switches into her Sandslash, and because this is her only physical attacker, and she knows that Snorlax is a special wall, she goes straight for the Earthquake, and it does quite a bit of health. It takes quite a bit of health off of my Snorlax, but I end up whirlwinding her out into her Blossom. And obviously I can wall a Blossom all day, and she goes for the Hidden Power Fire, and it turns out that she actually didn't have the Grass-type move because she accidentally put 2 Hidden Powers on it, not understanding the mechanics of Hidden Power because I never got around to explaining it to her, which is totally my fault, and it's very unfortunate because she could have done quite a bit more damage to my Snorlax with Giga Drain. Anyway, seeing how much that Hidden Power Fire does, I reminded her that I had Thick Fat, and she obviously switched out into her Audino, and she goes for the Heal Bell and gets rid of all the poison on all her Pokemon, and that's very unfortunate because a big part of my game plan was to Toxic Stall her with my Snorlax. Anyway, she brings back in her Sandslash, and I figured that she would go for the Rapid Spin this turn, just to get rid of those Toxic Spikes, so I decided to stay in and wake up. She does go for the Rapid Spin, and I'm able to whirlwind her out into her Blossom yet again. Now, thinking at this point, I still had no idea that she didn't have a grass move. So I switched into my Crobat expecting the Giga Drain or any other grass move, and she goes for the Sleep Powder, but unfortunately for her, she misses. Now I go for the Taunt on this turn. She made a very good play and switched out into her Thundurus, because first of all, I can't touch her Thundurus, and second of all, she can take me out with a Thunder very, very easily. But predicting, oh no, this turn she just goes straight for the Thunder, hits my Snorlax with the Thunder, and it takes away 35%, and that's a lot of damage on my Snorlax. And then she goes for the Focus Blast, which would have done, yet again, another huge chunk of damage to my Snorlax, but she ends up missing, which is extremely unfortunate, and I get to get a Body Slam off on her. At this point, she can't take another Body Slam, and because Thundurus is her most important Pokemon on the team, she has to switch out. She goes into her Audino, and goes for the Wish. I whirlwind her out, though, knowing that she would go for the Wish, and bring her out into her Thundurus, and I know that her Thundurus can't stay in to take another Body Slam, so she has to switch out into something else. She switches out into her Sandslash, and takes the Body Slam very nicely, 21% damage, and gets her Wish back. So now her Sandslash is at full health. Even though it's poisoned, it's still at full health, so that's pretty decent. Now, she goes for the Stone Edge as I switch to my Linoone. She was predicting me to switch into my Crobat. However, I was expecting her to switch into her Audino so I could get up the Belly Drum with my Linoone. So I go for the Seed Bomb on her Sandslash, thinking that my Linoone is screwed because I can no longer go for Belly Drum because I'm less than 50% health. And then I go for the Extreme Speed on her Audino. Now, she brings in this Galvantula to get the Wish back, thinking that she could live in Extreme Speed. Unfortunately, she actually can't live it, even at 53% health. Or 55% health, rather. She can't live the Extreme Speed. And for some reason, I didn't think that my Linoone would be useful, but actually, I remembered that it could be useful for late game sweeping, so I decided to switch out into my Crobat. I bring in my Crobat, I Toxic her Audino, and she goes for the Heal Bell to heal her Sandslash of poison, but it actually heals her of poison as well since I ended up Toxicking her. So I go for the Brave Bird knowing that I can't really touch her with the Toxic, and then expecting her to go into her Thundurus, because I knew that she wouldn't want to stay in and take more Brave Birds, and that I know that she really wanted that Wish onto her Thundurus. So I knew that she would switch out into her Thundurus, and I went for the Toxic to get as much damage off on him as possible. However, because I'm weak to electric moves, I knew that I'd be faster because I'm max speed, so I went for the Roost, hoping to not take much damage, and then I went to go fodder out my Crobat, but she expected me to switch, and she brings in her Sandslash. And she goes for the Stone Edge. Obviously, it's the best move that she can go for against me, because the Earthquake is not very effective, and she likely has Rapid Spin and Toxic. So I end up Toxicking her Sandslash as well, and she goes for another Stone Edge, takes me out with a crit. The crit didn't matter, obviously. And then I bring in my Magmortar, and I didn't know if this Fire Blast would kill, but I had to rely on it to kill, because if it didn't kill, I couldn't take out. I didn't have anything else to take out that Sandslash. However, after I take out that Sandslash, I can't just keep going for the Fire Blast, because I know that this Audino is not going to be able to get 2-hit KO'd from the Fire Blast. She goes for the Protect, scouting whether or not I was a choice set, and obviously, being as I switched out, she knows now that I'm choice scarfed, and therefore, she knows that my Magmortar is a huge threat. She knew that beforehand. She told me before the battle she was afraid of the Magmortar because of just how fast and powerful it was. Anyway, she goes for the Wish, and I slam her Audino. I get the Paralysis. However, after going for the Wish, she switches into her Thundurus and gets the Wish back, which is extremely unfortunate, because not only does she get the Regenerator health from Audino that I just took away from her, but she also gets her Thundurus up to full health, and then she's given the ability to switch into her Audino, go for the Heal Bell, and now she's left with a full health, an almost full health, cured Thundurus, and she brings her Thundurus. I whirlwind out her Audino, and she brings in the Thundurus, goes for the Thunder. Maybe she thought I was going to switch, expecting her to go for the Focus Blast, but I don't. Anyway, I'm forced to switch out because she brings in her Audino, and I go into my Magmortar, and the Focus Blast actually does 55%, so I know it'll 2-KO. However, she goes for the Protect to get her leftovers back, and now I was thinking she would live, and she was also thinking she would live. but I end up getting max damage and taking her out with a 58% Focus Blast. However, she is able to bring in her Thunderous and go for the Thunder on my Magmortar and take me out, and not only is she able to take out my Magmortar, but she's able to get her Wish back. Also, I forgot to mention that my Magmortar was paralyzed and therefore pretty much useless. And that's why I fought it out. Anyway, I bring in my Snorlax to try and wall this Thunderous and get off as much damage as I could. She ends up missing. She ends up hitting the first Focus Blast, and I hit her with a Body Slam. She misses a Focus Blast, and then I end up getting paralyzed. So that turn was basically wasted. And then she goes for another Focus Blast and misses again. And I get my rest off and get all my health back. And she goes for a Focus Blast again and misses for a third time. Extremely unfortunate, extremely unlucky. And if she had hit those Focus Blasts, I would have lost this game. As far as I know. If I didn't lose, it would have came down to a 1-0, very close game. But because of those two misses on the Focus Blast, I'm actually able to live the next two Focus Blasts and wake up and kill her off with a Body Slam. Now she brings in her Blossom, and she reveals that she has Synthesis. However, I get the Paralysis on the first Body Slam, and that enables me to take her out with the Body Slam on the second turn. So, that's an awesome game. Honestly, it's one of them. That was a very challenging game to play, and I was very, very surprised and very, very impressed at how well my girlfriend did. I know she's extremely intelligent in general, but I really didn't expect her to do this well, and she brought me down to the point where she could have actually beat me. If luck hadn't gone my way, she would have beat me, or she would have gotten to the point where it was a 1-0. And right now it's a 2-0, and as you can see, my Snorlax is at 19%, and my Linoone is only at 32%, and I would have lost an extra 12% coming in on the Stealth Rocks. So I would have had a 20% health Linoone and a dead Snorlax had she had hit those Focus Blasts. So, very, very impressive game. And I just want to say to my girlfriend who will be watching this video, thank you for playing with me. It was a lot of fun, and I hope maybe we can do this again sometime if you are up for it. Anyway, that's pretty much the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and feel free to hit the like button if you enjoyed the battle, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos in the future, and I will see you next time.